Good afternoon, everybody, and I'd like to welcome everybody out today, and just thank the Creator for giving us a good day to walk. And there's a few messages I wanted to get out, and a lot of them have stemmed from my own personal life, but also just some things that we share in general. One of the biggest issues we can all agree on with this development that's been happening is the impact that all of this development has been having on the environment. And at this point in time, I'd like to bring out a challenge to anybody that's affiliated with the federal government, the provincial government, the municipalities, Six Nations Band Council, anybody up and down the Grand that's been rubber stamping all these developments. And that's to, instead of taking your children out to the Bahamas or Jamaica, bring them down to the river and let them swim. Instead of renting cottages up north, bring them down to the Grand and fish and feed those fish to their families. Walk a mile in our shoes. You know, my children have skin conditions, and I'm being told that I have to tap into that village water supply, bath my kids in that water, drink that water, you know, cook with that water. And as humans, as living beings, you know, over 90% of our body is made up of water, the same as the earth. We need that. We need that to maintain life. We need to stand together to fight to maintain our existence, every single one of us here. Because in the end, you know, we're all going to fall together. And if that's one thing we have in common, it's to just fight for our very existence. You know, and that's something that by rights, you know, we shouldn't have to do that. But here we are as Ongohoe people. Every day is a daily struggle for us. You know, and as we look ahead, you know, we understand that fight that we're born to have. You know, and it's really hard, you know, when as Ongohoe, when you're dealing with all these other issues such as a residential school, generational survivors, all of those other things, you know, and fight for our language, fight for our ceremonies, fight to live, you know. And right now, the way it stands is, you know, I was watching this earlier on in the year on CH News actually, and they had this segment on bullying, schoolyard bullying. How do we handle it? You know, and when you look at the foundation of what this so-called country was built on, it was nothing but bullying. You know, so how can they expect their future generations to know or act any different? And when you look at when we stand up to fight for our basic rights, how we're kicked down right away, we're criminalized. Isn't that bullying at its finest? You know, 100 times worse because they're armed while they're doing that. And every step of the way, they're trying to chip away at our rights, you know, to enforce what they refuse to call a police state, you know, and we're so close to being just that, you know. And so those are a couple of the issues I wanted to talk about. And another issue was brought up to me by one of my family, and that's the struggle that we have when you talk about bullying and different people gathering together, fighting together, and that would be the unity that we're all seeking to strive. And throughout the centuries, the Crown, these so-called Canadian governments, U.S. governments, colonialism at its finest, whoever they may be, they all share one common goal, and it's to annihilate us Indigenous people, because without our existence, then they can take over and lay claim to everything that's truly ours. And if they can stand together with the sole purpose in mind is exterminate us, why can't we stand together? Why can't we? It's just our mere existence. It's the health and well-being of our future generations that we're fighting for, nothing more. You know, we're not looking to get rich off of this or anything. It's just to live a basic, peaceful life, you know, with the rights that we're born with. But other than that, I'd just like to say, Yawagoa, for everybody coming out and anybody and everybody who supported us. because the struggles are still there. And another, on Monday, May 16th, my husband will be facing trial. He's been charged with mischief, possession of a prohibited weapon, which was a bulletproof vest, for being arrested September 19th, 2007 at Sterling Street. And if he's found guilty, he'll be sent away for 2.5 years. My sister, they're looking to send her away for a year for the same incident. And there were 9 people in total charged that day. You know, you talk about the raid that we survived on April 20th. You know, well, there's nothing more scary than seeing your husband and your sisters and your niece and your friends standing there watching the riot squad come in on them, knowing darn well they're not doing anything other than protecting our rights as Ongohoe. They're doing nothing else but upholding that law that we were born to uphold. And now here we are, you know, thousands of dollars and years later, a lot of emotional struggles amongst our own family, friends, community, because of that single incident. And here we are coming to a head pretty soon, you know. And out of those 9 people that were charged, the original charge is mischief. And out of those 9 that were charged, 5 have had their charges thrown out because the Crown can't find any evidence to use against them to convict them. So we don't know where this is going, but again, you know, they're doing nothing more than upholding their rights or breaking any kind of law. They weren't even on the so-called construction site that morning. But yet they're entitled, the Canadian government thought they were entitled to bring in the RCMP, bring in the riot squad, bring in the Hamilton City Police, fully armed, on 9 people. But these struggles will never end, you know, because by when these struggles end, the Crown will admit that they have no hold on us. You know, they'll admit that we have inalienable rights that were mentioned earlier. And they can't do that because that's when they won't be collecting their taxes. They won't be collecting everything they can from the little man, you know, from all the blue-collar people that built everything to what it is today. But I just want to thank everybody again for helping us out in so many ways. Like, there's been a lot of emails that I still receive on a daily basis, a lot of well wishes, people just helping us through this struggle. You know, you don't know how much that means, even if it's just an email. You know, Janie, I hope you're having a good day. Janie, I'm thinking of your family. You know, those mean so much, because sometimes, like, when you're in the position that we are, criminalized, kicked to the curb by everybody, including your own people, you know, it gets pretty lonely there. You know, and for my children as well, you know, trying to help them struggle through after all the innocence they've lost throughout this whole ordeal. You know, their lives will never be the same. And then you have the police and the Crown wondering, why the hell don't they just give it up? You know, and our kids have seen the arrests happen. They know about the 10-month-old that had a gun pointed at them on April 20th, you know, in the wee early morning hours. Her 3-year-old sister that was asleep beside her. Those are their friends. You know, and our children are aware of this. And it doesn't make them weak, it doesn't make them fearful, it just makes them stronger and more aware. You know, and that's all we ask, is to keep bringing this awareness out, you know, and reminding people, you know, yeah, we have our regular 9-to-5 jobs, you know, but we all have a bigger purpose in life. But on that note, I'd like to say, you know, go again for coming out, and thank you to Jim again for making me a part of this. It's been a while, but good to see everybody, and have a great walk.
Thank you, Katie.